Hello, welcome back to Junjo Cynic talking about things. New setting, everything. Yeah. And I turned on my Xbox today to find that the Resident Evil 6 demo was out. A Resident Evil 6 public demo. From what I can tell, it's a bit different from the Dragon's Dogma demo. Not the demo for Dragon's Dogma, the demo given out with Dragon's Dogma. Because I never get why people do that. But point is, finally got a chance to play Resident Evil 6 and judge it for myself. I did talk a bit about the trailer, and might come back to some of that. I'll get my hair out of my face. I need to have a cut. I need to have a shave. I need to do stuff. But yeah. In the demo, you get to play as three pairs of characters. Like, you know, we're back to a sort of co-op style stuff of Resident Evil 5, which I don't know. I'll get to that in a bit. The three main characters are, well, the three main sets of characters are Leon S. Kennedy and Generic Muxadas. Chris Redfield and Generic McSuckass, and Sherry Birkin and Jake, who apparently is some sort of secret in his blood. I think one of the previous trailers alluded to him being related to Wesker, because even when Wesker dies, we can't have a Resident Evil game that doesn't somehow fucking involve him. But yeah. And they're supposed to represent, as far as I can tell, they're supposed to represent three different styles of gameplay. Like Resident Evil, Leon's campaign is mainly, it's the most horror oriented campaign. If you can call Resident Evil 6 that. You know, we've got the classic zombies. It's great to see them back. You've got Chris Redfield's campaign, which seems to be Gears of Resident Evil. It literally is. It's pretty much just cover-based shooting, everything like that. Not as bad as you would think. And the weirdest one is Jake and Sherry's campaign. Oh yeah, and in the previous video I did say that it was Ashley Williams and Jake. It's not. But Sherry Birkin does look a lot like Ashley Williams now she's all grown up. Maybe a bit of conspiracy there. You know, Birkin the President. You know, one big eye on your shoulder all across America. And we've I knew it wasn't going to be long until my train of thought derailed. And yeah, their campaign is weird. It's like it's a sort of got a sort of weird emphasis on hand-to-hand combat, which is kind of fun. It's funny when because I played as Jake. I played as Jake through that. Just because I kind of thought it was funny, sort of Wesker, and he's got this stuff. You open up his weapon menu, and not only is he like packed with weapons, he seems to have the most weapons of anyone in the game in the demo. But one of his weapons is hand to hand. His fists are actually deadly weapons. He does pull some pretty cool shit. You can grab a monster and start fucking kicking him in the fucking face. Stuff like that. But I should really get to actually reviewing this shit. I played Leon's campaign first. Like I just played it in order. Now Leon's campaign begins with him shooting the president, who is turned into a zombie, and then escaping from a college campus where sometimes the president was there. I suppose that'll be explained closer to the date. Now it really is trying to be horrific. It's trying. It's got the sort of like, the dilapidated setting, all sort of blood everywhere. And, oh god, zombies, all this, and the zombies are well done. I like the little touches in the zombies. They've got weapons, some of them. Now they don't really use them very well. I like that. It makes sense that if a zombie had a weapon in their hand, they might just be able to get together enough reasoning to swing it around. If they got a gun, they might just sort of limply fire it. I think that was in the Dragon's Dogma trailer. I didn't see any gun-wielding zombies here, but they're the typical shamblers. Sometimes you've got loads of little detail. They've got this damage modeling system in place for pretty much every enemy, where you sort of blast away a bit of flesh. It's a bit like, you ever played Left 4 Dead, you know what I mean. Not to that extent though. It's not like you can blow a hole in an enemy's chest and it's like you can see right fucking through it. It always made me laugh a bit when you see a zombie running along with their fucking intestines trailing out in Left 4 Dead. Not to that extent, but there is a nice little damage modeling system there, and sometimes you see zombies with like weapons embedded in them, like one with an axe. Something. I remember once Leon grabbed an axe that was embedded in a zombie and just like finished him off with it. Pretty cool. That's one of the main problems with this section. It's too cool. It's too badass. I mean, Leon is probably one of the most badass characters in gaming history, pretty much because of the ridiculous amount of badassness that the Resident Evil writers give him. But he's gained a lot of emo with the whole shoot him in the head. That's the only way it works. It's like, he always has a cool jacket. Whatever, he always has a fucking cool jacket. He has a cool jacket here. I need to know where he gets his jackets. But they're trying so hard to convince you that this is scary, and I can't be convinced that this is scary when I can just fucking go up to a zombie, punch him in the face, kick him down, and then stand on his head. I can't be convinced that's scary. It did get a bit more scary towards the end when there were like a lot of zombies and I was running out of ammo and are struggling to figure out how the new health system works. The new health system's a bit weird. You can make your health items as before, but this time you can put them in a little thing, in a little like tablet holder, I guess. Once you combine them, I can see the light. I need to fix that. I'm facing a window. That's why I'm occasionally just bursting out in heavenly light and then fading back to normality. Yeah, you can just like kick zombies in the face. And with the new health system, basically it just allows you to take health with just one button. You don't need to like equip first aid spray and stuff. No. You can put it all in this little like thing for personal use, and then you just take it. Fills up one block of your health bar. It's weird though because it looks like a fucking iPhone. I'm serious. This fucking thing looks like a fucking iPhone. At one point, Leon got like incapacitated, and generic McSuckass came over and like revived me by shaking this fucking iPhone thing in my face. It's supposed to be like, I mean, giving him some tablets or some shit, but it just looks like you're shaking an iPhone in my face. I'm thinking, what, are iPhones the secret to immortality? Zombie bites? We've got an app for that. Anyway, so yeah, the first section, it was fun, but it was blatantly obvious that they're still trying to be scary, but they can't be. They're not good at it anymore. So I'm kind of completely abandoning any concept of Resident Evil 6 is going to be scary. I abandoned it when I saw the trailer. I still thought it might be good, but I knew it wasn't going to be scary, and this proved it. This proved that they have no idea how to make a game scary anymore. Um, you, you can't be scared of something that you can just punch in the face. You can't. Just punching the fucking zombie. I mean, if you punch them in the face and it did jack shit, maybe you could be scared. But it doesn't. You can fucking erupt a person's head by punching them. You got the whole Chris Redfield Falcon punch back from Resident Evil 5. Talking of Chris, in the next section. Now, I thought this was going to be the worst section of the entire game. You know, I've never seen them do hand-to-hand, like, you know, sort of combat in Resident Evil, so I didn't know how that was going to turn out for Jake. But we've seen, if you played Resident Evil 5, there's a bit near the end where you gain a cover-based shooting system, and it is horrible as hell. The enemies gain guns. It's not. Oh, God. Honestly, I could tolerate Resident Evil 5 up to that point, but at that point it just became painful. Because you cover-based shooting in a fucking Resident Evil game. It was Heavenly Light again. God agrees with me. But, in all seriousness, it's not that bad in Resident Evil 6. They've learned their lesson. And, I mean, now you've got a nifty little carry system. It's still a bit dodgy at points, but you walk up to, like, a chest-high wall or something with your gun drawn, aimed, and press A, you'll duck behind it. If you aren't aiming, you'll jump over it. Took a bit of getting used to, but it was pretty good. And if you're aiming and you walk up to a wall at just normal height, you'll instantly go into sort of the hole, you know, behind the wall, you know, aim around, or it's actually pretty good. I can't really say much about Chris's section. It was a fun little shooting range. It wasn't scary in any way, shape, or form, of course. I mean, this is a cover-based shooter. Even when the big fucking thing came back, it's basically El Gigante, but a bit more spiky. Even has the big, like, parasite thing poking out his back to prove it's his weak point. That's how much like El Gigante it was. I'll get to the story at the end of this, because I need to say about the story last, because it's the thing that decides this, and it's not going to be what you expect. But Jake, I mean, you could tell that they had definitely made this character more powerful, and you do kind of feel like a sort of super soldier badass. Again, this isn't what you're aiming for in a horror game, but I get the feeling that they were only really aiming to be scary with Leon's campaign, and although they failed at that, they weren't really aiming to be scary in anything else. So, yeah, you can punch people. Like I said, you can equip his hands as mortal, deadly weapons. I don't know what Sherry Birkin has. Apparently she has some sort of weird healing factor. I heard that mentioned. I'll need to play for it again at Sherry Birkin at some point to decide on that. But, Jake has the same healing system as everyone else. The magic iPhone. That's what I'm calling it. The magic iPhone. Magic rejuvenating iPhone. But yeah, it was a pretty fun campaign. It had these really annoying monsters that are kind of hard to kill, and they send out loads of these like fucking darts everywhere. Really annoying little buggers. But apart from that, it was pretty fun. Yeah. What I can say about the gameplay of Resident Evil 6 overall throughout the full 3 campaigns is that it's pretty fun. It's not really great, it's not really anything exceptional, but it is fun. And with the 3 campaigns, I can see that they're going to provide a lot of variation in this. So it'll probably be worth your money. But the graphics are pretty cool. Got some very nice monster designs there. Some very weird, like, dying animations. The enemies in Leon's campaign do the whole melting thing that we're more used to. and fade away to nothing. The enemies in Chris's campaign burn like vampires from the Blade movies. It's cool, but it doesn't make sense. And for some reason, the enemies in Jake's campaign, they kind of melt and then solidify into these statues which you can actually fucking take cover with. I don't know, can you take cover on them or can you just jump over them? I don't know. But they're actual physical features in the world, so I guess they block some gunfire. God, Jake. And here's where I come to the kicker of the entire thing. The reason that I will probably buy Resident Evil when I get the money. It's fucking hilarious. It's come to this point. Somebody at Capcom has taken too much cocaine and has gone completely and irreversibly insane. And Resident Evil 6 is the product of this beautiful insanity. It's fucking punching zombies in the face, the fucking magic iPhone, everything. How much of a ridiculous douchebag Jake is. The fact that Chris Redfield says, please, nameless, faceless soldiers, none of you are expendable, it's my job to keep you alive. Just like, no, they're all expendable. We all know they're expendable. This is almost a joke on their part. I think they actually tried to make a joke at some point about the general state of Resident Evil security system in Resident Evil games. You go into this fucking part in the campus in Leon's part, looking for a key card to open a door, and you open one drawer and you find this weird little statue in there. And I did think, is this Capcom trying to be funny? Is this Capcom? The statue doesn't do anything. You know, I think they're trying to make some sort of reference to the past games where you some bullshit. Oh, find this statue and put it up there because that's a totally efficient security system. It's utterly and beautifully insane and hilarious. It's what happens when a B-movie director suddenly and inexplicably gets a massive budget. And I love it. I don't think it was intended to be this funny, but it is. It's the sort of game that makes me wish I could do proper Let's Plays on here, because I was just going through the demo, taking the piss out of it. It's hilarious if you can have a bit of fun with it. Anyway, play the demo for yourself, see for yourself, and see you next time that I have something to rant about. Bye.